Emma Roberts might have something of a basic name, but her pedigree is worlds away from ordinary. With a family tree that includes some big-time names like her father Eric Roberts and an A-lister for an aunt in Julia Roberts, Emma's talents naturally cover a wide range of skills. Not only is Emma an actress, but she's also had a great deal of experience singing, even if over the past few years, she's become best known for her incredible performances in a litany of horror projects. I'm talking everything from American Horror Story to the popular Scream franchise. In fact, Emma's acting career began all the way back in 2001 in an under-the-radar Johnny Depp film. Think you know what movie I'm talking about? Then drop the title in the comments below. In the meantime, I'm about to take you all on a journey from Emma's humble beginnings on Nickelodeon's Unfabulous right up to her present-day drama involving her ex, Garrett Hedlund. So if you want to know more about Emma Roberts' life and rise to fame, then stay tuned because we'll get into all of that and more here for you on Famous Life. Emma Roberts was born on February 10, 1991 in the city of Rhinebeck, New York, to her father, Oscar-nominated actor Erica Roberts, and her mother, Kelly Cunningham. As already mentioned, Eric comes from Hollywood royalty as the brother of world-famous actress, not to mention everyone's favorite romantic lead, Julia Roberts. Unfortunately for Emma, her parents didn't stay together all that long, and while her father would fight for custody, he would lose that battle and Emma would spend the majority of her childhood living with her mom. Despite being separated from her father, Emma wasn't kept out of his life altogether, and she spent a great deal of her childhood on film sets, while also attending the Archer School for Girls in Los Angeles, California. The time Emma spent on those sets would come to be far more inspirational to her than anything else she was a part of. In fact, she still remembers sitting spellbound and watching her aunt work while shooting her Academy Award-winning performance in Erin Brockovich. Emma likened that experience to being away at summer camp, and it helped her realize that much like her aunt, acting was in her blood. The only problem was that her mother was dead set against those ambitions. This led to a bunch of arguments between the two of them in which Emma would accuse her mom of not allowing her to pursue her dreams. While living with Eric, Kelly had witnessed firsthand how his drug abuse and run-ins with the law prevented him from living a normal life, and that wasn't something she wanted for her own child. Eventually, however, Emma broke her mother down, begging her to let her audition just once. Assuming Emma wouldn't land the part and learn how deeply ingrained rejection is in the world of acting, Kelly agreed, but Emma wound up booking the very first gig she ever read for. Having spent so much of her life surrounded by movie making, it only makes sense that Emma was a natural from the get-go. The first part she ever booked was as Johnny Depp's daughter in the 2001 film Blow. Following that first taste, Emma would try out for the role of Wendy in the 2003 reimagining of Peter Pan. Unfortunately, this would become Emma's first experience with rejection. She was devastated when she didn't land the part. Sensing an opportunity, her mom suggested that maybe Emma should reconsider and give acting a rest, but Emma refused and instead became more determined than ever. She landed her golden ticket with the lead role in Nickelodeon's TV series Unfabulous, in which she played a young girl named Addie Singer whose songs helped her navigate the difficulties of being a teenager. Her performance in that series would lead to her earning a number of award nominations and also allow Emma the opportunity to express herself musically with the release of her 2005 album Unfabulous and more. After appearing in 42 episodes of the series between 2004 and 2007, Emma would wind down her TV career for a little while to concentrate on film, where she went to appear in the film Aquamarine and also star as the title character in the updated version of Nancy Drew. A few years later, Emma would finally find herself acting opposite her aunt when they both booked roles as members of the ensemble cast in 2010's Valentine's Day. Emma would follow that up with the cult comedy We're the Millers, for which she not only won Best Movie Actress in a Comedy at the Teen Choice Awards, but also Best Kiss at the MTV Movie Awards for the lip lock she shared with Will Poitier and Jennifer Aniston. That same year, she'd book her biggest film to date in Scream 4, and shortly after that, she'd meet Evan Peters in 2012 while shooting the film Adult World. Much to her surprise, Emma found herself immediately smitten with Evan, And soon, the two were dating. They'd spend the next several years with one another, even going so far as to get engaged in 2014, but their relationship would eventually come to an end in 2019. During the majority of those years, Emma was working regularly with Evan on the FX series American Horror Story, starting with 2013's Coven and leading into the follow-up season Freak Show. In 2015, she took a break from that series and switched over to another horror-themed TV project, Scream Queens. That only lasted the one season, but it left behind a large cult following. Luckily, Emma had American Horror Story to fall back on, and she'd return with prominent roles in the seasons subtitled Apocalypse in 1984. Having spent so much of her career acting in horror projects, you might be wondering what helps Emma land all these roles in the first place. Well, to hear her explain it, it's because she's genuinely frightened by them. She told Los Angeles Magazine, "I've always been the person screaming. I'm always freaked out. Someone's under the bed. What's that noise outside? I've always had anxiety, always." But rather than let that anxiety overwhelm her, Emma put it to work and established a pretty remarkable career for herself. After splitting from Evan Peters in 2019, Emma quickly entered into a relationship with actor Garrett Hedlund. By the end of the following year, these two were welcoming a child together, their son Rhodes. But a little over a year later, these two would split after Garrett began struggling with his sobriety and was twice stopped and charged with DUI offenses. With Garrett seeking treatment for his addictions, the couple found it difficult to co-parent their son, so they decided to split up. A few months later, Emma began making headlines after being spotted holding hands with Hollywood agent Kate Hudson. Many media outlets were quick to assume these two were dating, but the truth is that Hudson publicly identified himself as a gay man following a scandal back in 2017 that saw him accused of soliciting an up-and-coming actor with a sex act in exchange for a meeting with Amanda Seyfried. Hudson was never sued or charged with any crime over the incident and has since denied the accusation, stating he would have never touched the victim without consent. Despite the accusation, Hudson has maintained his Hollywood connections and he's apparently added Roberts to his list of friends and clientele. But again, it's highly unlikely these two are actually dating. Instead, Emma has been spending most of her time gearing up for the release of her most recent thriller, Abandoned, which revolves around a family with an infant son who moves into a farmhouse that holds dark, sinister secrets. More horror and an infant baby? Yes, sounds right up Emma's alley. As for what might be coming next, well, during a recent appearance on Dread Central, Emma said that she would welcome a return to Scream. What do you guys think? Would you like to see Emma Roberts return to that franchise, especially now that Neve Campbell is backed out of the upcoming sequel? Let us know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe to Famous Life and drop a comment for who you'd like us to feature next.